stuff's at the top.
There you go.
So now, so the good news, hey. So the good news is it's sort of nice and easy for the first 8 kilometers, so they tell us.
I don't know, that
sort
climbing
of,
3
I reckon
kilometers doesn't look easy.
Well, that's it, but strictly that isn't true. So the key really is that don't go. Make sure you're in good position out the gate, because there's a little bump that we go up before we start heading down. The first real fun starts about 3.3 k's in. The bad news is you've only got one power up, and that's an anvil as you go through the comm arch. And the rest of it's sort of kind of lumpy, and the comm tricks you into a false sense of security because it's not really 1k. But apart from that,
it's a 5-minute effort, right? So the front of ours got up. The front of ours got up the actual comm in 2:32, right? So it's fast. It's like it's a 2:39 maybe, I think it was. It's a 5+ effort basically is what the actual comm is. But you have to remember the push starts from the bottom, and often the push at the bottom is actually more brutal than the actual comm because people are trying to are pushing it more at that point, right? So end to end, it's a 5-minute effort, is what it is.
Yeah. I think the official comm starts at 9k. We start at 8.6. Think of it as just 4 tiny little bumps that we go up, and nothing to see here, and it'll be perfect.
Fantastic.
Yes. New York, nothing but bumps.
Yeah.
And just remember, in the nicest possible way, the final 2 are the steepest, which is a good and a bad thing because you can create gaps / close gaps, but you need to have something in the tank for it. So
don't spoil all the fun, Dave. The first bit's quite steep too.
No, not the temple.
I actually like the fact that the final 2 pitches are the steepest, but I know some don't. Right?
No.
So.
All right, let's start getting ready. Like I say, first couple of 100 meters, there's a bit of an incline out of the gate, so don't get caught napping. But we're basically going along a false. We're going along a false flat to about 1.4, 1.3k.
Good.
Good race, guys.
Have a good one.
All right, 10 seconds.
Good luck. 10 seconds.
All right, just be careful for the twitchiness, like I say, out the gate. Stay in a nice position. We're basically going to roll along this false flat till 1.4, and we're going to leisurely go downhill until 2.7k. Make sure you're in good position, working the wheels. Don't overcook yourself. There's another tiny little pinch up at 600 meters in. Again, nothing to be excited about. Nothing gets above 2% on this. Just make sure you're not down the back of the group. You got 500 meters of this, and then we're going to gradually go downhill.
The start hasn't been too bad.
No.
Fine. So far, so good.
Yeah.
No, the first real push comes as you go onto the glass, right? So positioning as you hit the glass is important because there will be a big push there. That will be a 5 to 6+ push. So
yeah. So 3.3k is where the fun's going to start, but let's enjoy this downhill.
Relentless on the front. Just let them stay frosty though.
Yeah, they're just trying to get onto the glass early, but there's an 8%
Nobody's-
downhill. There's an 8% downhill you're going to hit soon, so the group will probably all come back together.
Yeah, nobody's going to get away before the glass. I wouldn't worry about that. The bunch will roll through on the descent.
All right, enjoy this downhill. You're going to go down the first hill, 3% decline to 1.9k. Then we're on a false flat. Then we're downhill again at 2.4k, which is the steep part. So make sure at 2.4k you're in good position. Otherwise, you will get dropped. So if you're dangling down the back of the group, you've got 500 meters to get in a good position, because you will be going downhill at 7 to 8%. And you don't want to be trapped at the back pushing along the flat before we go uphill. Okay, as soon as we get to this junction, enjoy the downhill. Sadly, it's only 400 meters. And we're along the flat till 3.3. So at 3.3, be ready to go up. It's quite a steep little pinch between 3.3 and 4 kilometers. Starts at 10%, levels off to 4%, and then kicks again at the end.
If you're not in the right position in the bunch, you can push just before the glass, and you
Yep.
should sail through as long as you keep your push solid all the way up.
That glass tunnel ahead of you is basically where we're going to start climbing. So be ready as soon as you turn right. The end of the tunnel is when you'll pitch up.
I'm going to start pushing now.
Okay, 700 meters of fun. Make sure you work the wheels. Okay, 10% all the way to this left turn. As soon as we come around to the left, we'll be down to about 4%. And then when we turn right, we'll be back up to 8, 9%. Great position, everyone. Don't get hung on the back if you can help it. It's going to pitch up again when we come round to the right. We're climbing all the way to 4 kilometers. Just make sure when you come over the top at 4 that you get back into position. We've got a false flat, then we're going downhill. So do not get caught on the back on this false flat if you can help it. There's an awful lot of pink dirt shirts, isn't there?
There's a lot of dirt teams in this division.
Yeah. Okay, final little push. Make sure you're getting into position, because the draft will pull the front downhill. And be ready to pitch up at 4.5 Ks in. There's a little pitch about 8, 9%. Only a couple of hundred meters, but just be ready for a tiny surge at 4.5k. Make sure you use it to get back in position if you're out of position.
It's still all very stretched out, but it does still look intact. If you're at the back,
Yeah.
just keep pushing.
Draft is strong.
Right, so if you're at the back, surge up this push.
Tiny little squeeze now. Good news is it's flat then for an extra K. So you'll do well to be in a good position just coming over this pop. Nice work, Owen. Okay, as soon as we get back on the blue, relax, position, sit in the draft. All right, we're on a false flat now to 5.5. Then we'll start on a couple of little rollers, nothing major. Maximum of 4-5%, but just be wary that the pack will stretch and surge. Nice work, everyone. 300 meters. Then we've got 2 little rollers and then a nice little downhill to recover. Just watch for the little pitch and roll here. Looks like someone's trying to push the front.
Good luck.
Just make sure you're in the front half of the group if you can when we go over these 2 little rollers, and just be ready at the bottom of that blue saddle. There's a nasty little pinch up around 8-9%. The good news is as soon as we're over that, it's basically false flat downhill all the way to the com. So this is the final aggressive little kick. We're going to hit it at 6.1. Enjoy this little downhill. You see the little pinch ahead of you. Just make sure you don't get isolated on the front and the group comes straight over the top of you. Okay, tiny little squeeze. Tops out at 6.4. Then we're rolling downhill all the way to the base of the com. Nice work, everyone. Great work, Andrew. Just work with that group, little gruppetto behind.
You've got a couple going off the front, so this could get strung out here on the way into the com. Watch your positioning in bunch.
Yeah, it's going to get a little bit fast and furious now because you're basically going to be tipping downhill all the way through to 7.3, 7.4 Ks. Just control the position in the group.
I was going to say, Owen, you don't need to be closing it and doing 4s. You're about to hit a com.
I just rolled through.
Nice work, Owen.
I
Let's
want to
make
make
this
sure it
work.
ain't gonna weigh all.
At 8K, you've got a little dip in the road. Nothing too much to worry about. Just watch for a tiny little surge, about 8.1K, just before we head into the base of the climb. The climb starts at 8.6. It really is just a little dip in the road, but it does unsettle the group. All right, just about to start to feel going down into this little dip. And just like that, it appears on the map. It really only is 150 meters of up. Tiny squeeze. Nice work. All right, enjoy the next 500 meters because as soon as it's over, we're going uphill.
Yeah, you want to be thinking about your positioning into the com here, so don't get caught too far back. Make your own life difficult.
So that left turn is basically the base of the first part of the hill. We'll start at 8.6 to 8.9, 10 to 15%. Just be ready for the surge. As soon as we hit this red line, it isn't the start of the com, but it is the start of the hill.
Yeah, numbers are up.
Okay. So this first section will top out at 8.9, basically when we turn the right-hand corner ahead of us. Then the next section is 7 to 8% gradient. It's not as aggressive as this one we're going up now. Nice work, everyone.
I never realised this got up so steep at this point.
Yeah.
I'm normally in too much pain at this point.
Right. So we're going to turn right. For those that really want to set PRs, this is the start of the real com. Like I say, this next section is 9.1 to 9.4K, 7 to 8%.
Watch the surge. There will be a surge here on the way in. People want speed on the way into this bit.
A little bit of a roller down, then squeeze. 500 meters before that blue section of road in front of you. Nice climbing, steady pedal pressure. $200 meters to go. Nice work. Okay, after the respite, we've got section number 3, which is 9.6 to 9.8, 200 meters at 10%. Basically round the left-hander all the way up to the next bend. Push all the way to the bend.
You're almost up this section. One more to go after this. You're almost there.
Drive all the way up. Beautiful. Tops out at 9.8. Then we're going back up again at 9.9 to 10.1. Unfortunately, this is a 10 to 15%.
Yeah.
Make sure you
got
push
this, Owen.
Push it all the way, Owen. Now's the time to dig. Get straight over the top.
When you hit the top, it's a false flat as well. Don't ease up when you think it's. You've got to keep the power on all the way through over the top.
Don't panic with the graphics. They don't tell the true story. Just make sure you're driving all the way through. You've got a nice long tail in the front. Great climbing, Greg. Keep pushing on the back, David, Xavier, Aaron.
You got this, Owen. Push,
Right,
push.
sweet.
It's going to string out in front of you.
All right, drive this gap home, Owen. Get in the draft. You've
Got to keep pushing straight past him. Yeah, keep pushing, keep pushing. You can get back on if you keep going.
You get your anvil at the top, and you're going downhill. You're just starting to go downhill now. This first section's a bit shallow, and then
Don't use your anvil yet, Owen.
Get on that draft, Owen. Some more coming over the top of you.
You got ambles coming behind you with speed. Use those. Grab that draft. Grab that wheel. And then use your own when you get onto this next steep bit.
All right, drive it now. You're going to go down a real sharp hill at 10.7. If you haven't deployed your anvil and you need to, this is the place you'll get the best benefit.
Now,
Drive it all the way down, Owen.
Super tuck.
You're going downhill to 11.2. Squeeze if you can.
You've got to pedal you out super tuck. Literally 1 or 2 seconds.
Okay, you're going
You
to
can do
bottom out.
this.
So, Greg, you're back. Unfortunately, Greg, you're down on the flats again. You're going along to 12k. Then we're going to go for a little pitch roller.
Damn it, still Tom.
Oh,
Almost there.
close. There's another bump coming you can use.
Front group down to 18. Use this little pitch here if you can, Owen. Front group, you're basically now going along the flat to 13k. Then we're starting to go gradually uphill. Nice work, Greg. So at 13k, we've got just a gradual little climb up to 13.8. Then we've got a bit of downhill. So now's the time. Great work, Xavier. Make sure you don't do all the work with that group. David's just 11 seconds behind. Nice work, Aaron. Looks like there's someone just about to hit your draft, Aaron, if you want to share a bit of work. And a couple more just behind. 2 in the HISP team, so they can probably do some work for you. Great work, Owen. All right, Xavier and Owen, if you can work together, make sure you work with that group. Don't do all the work. Just make sure you don't let that front 5 or 6 get away. All right, 13.8, Greg, you're going to enjoy a little bit of a downhill. To be honest with you, it's more of a saddle because you go back up again at 14.6. Front groups at 18. Nice work, Owen and Xavier. Looks like you're 8 seconds off, David. That group just ahead is Owen and Xavier, David.
Yeah, I see them.
Yep. There's a tiny little pitch up now. If those HISP boys push, you might be able to squeeze together. Nice work, Andrew.
That's right. It's all going to come back together. David's group's going to catch Owen's group. Owen's group's going to catch the front group.
I know, right? It's exciting.
Front of your group's pushing hard, Owen.
Yeah. Got a nice downhill as soon as we get over this little bump here. Owen's group. You're going all the way down to 15.7. Then there's a little roll up at 8%. So just be wary. Second group, get ready for the squeeze.
Mighty both drop down, Bill. I'm out.
Down to 8 seconds now, front group.
Okay, front group's just about to hit the base of this hill. Then we've got a nice gradual climb all the way through to 18 Ks. And then it's basically downhill, head into the finish line. So that second group, this is the time in the next 1.5 Ks to push, get back on. If not, you're not going to make it back to the group.
Yeah, you got to assume the second group's going to push on every up now.
Just make sure you sit in the wheels. Great work, David. Keep driving the hill, mate. All right, front group 17.4. Watch this little roller down. Just a few may get a bit lively and start to go early, because basically at 18K, it's then a nice downhill all the way to the finish line kilometer. So just watch for any ramp, Greg, going over the top of here. Okay, make sure we hold wheels all the way up for the next 500 meters. Then we're heading for home. $200 meters, Greg. Great position. All right, work this draft all the way down.
Someone will almost certainly go very early on this sprint, Greg. You don't want to be on the front. You want to be second or third, ideally, letting everyone else do the work to close it down and then come through on the climb. I think about eight or 900 meters to go, you turn into it turns into a slight descent, and someone almost certainly tries to go early there every time round.
Yeah.
It very rarely works, but
All right, 1K before the real magic happens, Greg, but just watch for these tiny little pinches in the road. A few may go early, but there's a 5% downhill at 19.6 that will drive the pace. Basically, we're going to turn left ahead of us. That's when it's going to get lively.
yeah. Second group, you're still sprinting for a top 20.
Okay, watch for the action just as we start climbing through here. 1.5 Ks to go, Greg. You're going to basically dip down and then we're going to go back up. So make sure that you're in good position. They're going to come over the top. Still got 1.3 before the finish line. Basically, at this left-hander, you can see the orange marker ahead of you on the left. As soon as we come over this rise before we turn left, they will start going. Remember, there's a pitch up to the finish and then it flattens out just before the finish. So make sure you're driving through. 1K to go all the way to work this draft.
Some in the front group have kept their ambles. Some in the front group have dropped the ambles. You want to be going on their wheels.
Float in the draft, float in the draft. Okay, start driving. It's going to kick up. Okay, push all the way through this incline now. Drive it all the way up through the hill. Beautiful. Surf that draft. Push, push, push. Great work, Greg. Second group, push all the way up through the steep part. Beautiful. Nice work, Owen. Nice work, Xavier.
Nice sprinting, Xavier. Well done.
Okay, Mr. Gabb, it's you against you. You can't lose. Nice work, David. It is a nasty kick, that 8-9%, isn't it?
It's horrible. If you time it wrong as well, it's horrible.
Oh, yeah, it's just like wading through mud.
Yeah, you hit the top, your legs are filled with lactic acid, and everyone's just coming past you in waves, right?
Right. Right then, our end, you can see the left turn. Basically, that's where the dip in the road is. So be ready to drive, follow the wheels coming around to the left. You can see the orange banner just ahead of you. Don't go too early.
Well done, guys.
Nice
Good
draft.
race.
Follow
Well
it.
done, everyone. Had that rude awakening for me.
Yeah.
I just missed out on 10th, but 11th.
Yeah. Nice work around. Just hold those wheels. Get ready to push when it goes red.
Yeah, that com's a horrible effort in B1. It's a horrible effort.
All right, the front of the
Oh, yeah,
way. Follow those wheels. Push, push, push.
I almost stopped. About 30 seconds, I almost backed up.
All the way through. Awesome work. Push, push. Let's get.
Nice job, Aren. Go on, Aren. You've got him. You've got him. You've got him. You've got him. You've got him.
Beautiful work.
Nice, Aren. Well done.
Caught him napping. Great work around.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, my com was very much like Owen's. Basically, there 1 or 2 seconds off the back as we crested, and it never got back on again, unfortunately. So.
Great work, Andrew.
Yeah.
Up to the left.
I backed off as well, thinking I'll go from the back.
I know. I watched you do it. You were doing 6 watts and safely in the bunch, and then you suddenly dropped it. That's the problem with climbs like that. You see it flatten out. You try and drop it down to 4. You lose kind of 5 or 6 positions, and then you can't get back on again when you ramp it back. I do exactly the same thing on climbs like that, and I never learn my lesson.
No, I meant on the sprint.
Right, work
I got on the case.
right there.
Hey, oh my god, I got off because I wasn't strong enough. No, on the sprint, I was too late. On me again. That's,
I hate it's the graph, that color graph. I hate that because you keep on looking at it. I wish you could, like, there was a feature to get rid of it.